Hey there, it's Catherine from CatherinePuller.com. Today I'm going to use the Ovals and Flowers die set and the Chevron Cheer sentiment set. Or it's not just a sentiment set, it has some great graphics in it and some hand-drawn sentiments. So here is a shaker card that I made, and when we designed this oval set, this is exactly what I had in mind, this inlaid die cutting and a shaker card with this chevron. So let's get started. I did a little die cutting first. So what I did was I took a white piece of cardstock and I just layered my dies on here. So I did the largest oval, and then I did the oval scallop, and you can see that does a reverse scallop. And then next I did the scallop. And then I also die cut the same with black cardstock. So now I'm going to be able to have all of these pieces. I'm going to be able to inlay them one on top of the other. And then this gives you a really fun and unique look with the reverse scallops. So I'm using my Misty, and I have this piece that is going to be the top front of my card, and I want this oval to be centered in there. So I'm just going to center this before I stamp it. And the Misty, using the Misty is perfect for that. Okay, we'll put that aside. I'm going to grab my VersaMark ink pad. I'm going to ink that chevron oval up. I'm going to put it back in position because it kind of scooted up on me, and we'll stamp it again. Hopefully I have my chevron stamped nicely. Yeah, looks pretty good. And then I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper and my Wow embossing powder. I'm going to just pour it over my chevron oval, tap it off, and then I'm going to heat it. All right, so this is all embossed, and I'm going to do the next step, which is sponging. So I'm going to start with my green tea. Excuse my froggy voice, I had a little cold over the weekend. It was a great excuse to hang out on the sofa all weekend. I think I watched 6 movies, which I never do, so it was kind of a nice little restful weekend for me. But I'm just kind of recovering now from the effects of the cold, as you can hear in my voice. I asked Randall if I could do videos like this. He said no. I'm obviously not listening. So green tea and Daydream gives you a great emboss resist look, which if you watch my videos, you know is one of my favorite techniques. And then, let me see, I'm going to make sure I don't have ink on my hands, so I'm just going to spray them down with a little water from my distress sprayer. I'm going to wipe this down, make sure I don't have any ink. Again, if you guys watch my videos, you know I am a mess. All right, so next up, we are going to put this piece together. So I'm just going to add adhesive to this frame, and we're going to add the acetate. And then we're going to layer all these pieces one inside of another. So I could just do white and white, but I wanted to do the black for some contrast. So I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue. And we'll just lay this right in here, thus the inlaid die cutting technique. And then this piece will go inside that one. And then we're going to get this. Because I laid it on my Misty and I lined it up, it's pretty centered. Pretty. Not a, well, yeah. It did work out the way I wanted it to. So if it wasn't, you can always cut this piece down. The only issue you're going to have is when you go to add this on here. So let's do that next step. I have my giant roll of 3M mounting tape. I'm going to cut it in half. Actually, I could do thirds. Let's do half. Half because I like to be frugal with it. That giant roll is not cheap. And also because I'm going to be going around curves. And I want, if it's too thick, it's not going to curve. So we'll peel this off, and then you're going to want to go around the entire opening because this is going to act as a barrier for your sequins, and then they won't fall out. So you need to make sure you have this completely blocked off. It's like a little roadblock for your sequins. Okay, I'm at the end. I'm just going to tear it off, and then you want to finish out the sides. Now we're going to add the sequins. So for sequins, on my desk I have Tropical Paradise, Enchanting, and Gilded Peach. I'm thinking I'm leaning toward this Gilded Peach. I like those matte gold sequins that are in here. So we're just going to add them. All right, that should do it. And then we're just gonna add this straight on top. And because I had it lined up, it should line up. And if it doesn't, well, hopefully the recipient of this card is gonna think it's so cool that they're not gonna notice. Ah, you know what? I think it is not lined up. There's more space up here than down here. But when I embellish it with this, you're not really gonna be able to tell. Okay, so I've been playing a little bit. I made a bunch of smudges, and then I kind of wasn't thrilled about how this was looking. I added this, and it's cute. I kind of was thinking that I would like something on here. It was just kind of too stark on the background for me. So I took a piece of paper and I sponged on green tea, and then you can see it has like a droplet look to it. So I sponged on green tea, and then I took my distress sprayer and I just sprayed it down. I didn't soak it, but I made it wet enough. And then I dried it with my heat tool, and it has kind of a mottled look now, which I think is really, really cool. I'm gonna add some liquid glue, and then I'm just gonna adhere this right over the top. And obviously I cut it out with the largest oval frame, so I'm just gonna lay it right here. And then I am not so sure about the feather. I think it's not working for me because it's pattern in pattern, and I think they're just not jiving. So I die cut my hello. This is a handwritten sentiment by Shauna. I have Wanderlust sitting right by, and if you guys are familiar with our ink, it stays wet for a little while, so you can do something like this. I'm gonna take my ink blending tool, tap it down on that word sentiment, and then it's wet, so it's gonna hold on to this embossing powder. I'm going to put that aside, and then I'm going to heat it. And this Wanderlust embossing powder, Wanderlust is a clear, glittery sparkle powder, and it has a gold undertone to it. So it's going to look really nice with those gold sequins. So to finish out the card, I just have a little strip of white cardstock. I'm gonna make a banner end in it, and that's easy to do by just slicing or doing a little bit down the center and then going end to the middle and end to the middle, and then you have a nice little banner. So I'm using this border stamp from the Chevron Cheer stamp set and our small rectangle grid block, and I'm gonna stamp that on there, and then add the hello, and then voila. This is the finished product. So I just did there. That is from our Hello World stamp set, which has hello, hi, hello down here, and hello in a few different languages, along with some companion sentiments. So it worked really well with this hello die cut. And that's it for today's card. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and head over to my blog. In the YouTube video, there are supplies listed down below, and then also over on my blog, as well as photos of this project. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. Have an awesome day.